Lake Burton Civic Association annual meeting and fiesta. Woo! We have a great program for you tonight. First of all, we have some distinguished guests in our midst, and I want to introduce them. We have the Honorable Mayor Kurt and Kathy Cannon. If you'll stand, please. I hope you don't know him real well, but the DNR Sergeant Cody Jones is here. And we have Lori and Kathy Jordan. You could stand, please. Lori is now with the Savannah River Keeper. So thank you for coming tonight and gracing our presence. I will be your LBCA president for the next 6 weeks. And then Dan Marlowe will take over as your new president. I have a few things that are going to kind of boring, but they require our votes. So I did agree to get this going. So we have a couple of people to vote on that are on the executive team. Tracy Berry has agreed to be our assistant treasurer. Tracy, for a 2-year term. Tracy has over 20 years experience in the nonprofit accounting world. So we're really lucky to have her. She and her husband, Gene, live on the lake full time. Since Tracy will be joining us on our executive team, it calls for a vote. So I am making a motion that we add Tracy Berry as the assistant treasurer. Can I have a second? Second, Yolanda Adrian. All in favor, please raise your hand. And who's opposed? Sorry, Tracy. You're in. Okay. We have a new vice president to elect tonight. Robin Gunn Parker has been nominated to serve a 2-year term as the vice president. So for the past several years, she has been the LBCA chair of the foundation board and has done fantastic work. She and her husband, Brian, live on the lake full time. She just recently retired as the VP of a very large software firm. So we are very blessed to have her and her business acumen to the LBCA board. I am making a motion that she is our vice president. Do I have a second? Amy Hewlett is our second. All in favor? Okay, Robin, you are in. Who's opposed? Oh, sorry. Nobody's opposed. Okay. I just wanted to mention this one doesn't call for a vote, but we have recently added a new person. I don't believe he's here tonight, but to our LBCA board, Jan Saperstein, who is a veteran in the commercial real estate field. He's joining our board to find a new home for the LBCA for a pavilion. So we have asked him, we've tasked him for finding that for us and helping to champion that cause. I'm sure that Jan Saperstein would love to have any of you real estate folks to join him on his committee. So thank you, Jan, for helping with that. So we have 4 resolutions to go through tonight that the LBCA has already voted on, the board has already voted on, but we need membership approval. The first one is to change our fiscal year for the association and the calendar year. As you know, we used to be December 31st, and now we're September 30th for both the LBCA Incorporated and for the LBCA Foundation. So I have a motion to change the fiscal year. Who has a second? Jean Berry has a second. All in favor of changing the fiscal year? All opposed? Okay. The second resolution is to authorize the LBCA to open a fidelity brokerage account for funds to earn interest. We have an LBCA has funds to invest in interest-bearing account. Therefore, the following are authorized to open and manage a fidelity brokerage account on behalf of the LBCA. And Dan Marlowe and Robin Gunn Parker, Harry Homer, who's our treasurer, and Tracy Berry will have access to this. Okay, so I have a motion to approve this resolution. Who's got a second? Thank you, Adam. Adam Berger. Okay, all in favor of this resolution? Okay, all opposed? Okay, I got one more. Okay, we need to change the check signatures for the new officers and to obviously the new year. So we have a motion to change the new officers. All in favor of, we have a motion. Who's the second? Gerald, second. Gerald Hewlett is the second. All in favor of this resolution? Okay, opposed? One more. We need to allow officers access to the North Georgia Community Foundation. We moved money to that foundation so that we could do the scholarship. They could help us with the scholarship program because it was very tedious and nobody wanted to do that job. So we have moved money to the Community Foundation, and this is a resolution to allow the access for the officers to have access. So we have a motion to approve this. Who's got a second? Second, Janine. Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Okay, I'm done. Okay. Two of our tireless volunteers board members are rolling off this September, and I just wanted to recognize them. One is Peter Pomeroy, who managed the golf tournament for 4 years and did a terrific job, and I just wanted to thank Peter Pomeroy for doing such a fantastic job. Also, Amy Hewlett will be rolling off. She served many functions on the board. She chaired the merchandising for our board. She also chaired Burton Bash. Both of these individuals were invaluable to us and assets, and I thank them both for their service. So thank you. I'm delighted to announce that Yolanda Adrian has signed up for another 3-year term for water quality. So thank you, Yolanda Adrian. We'll hear more from her later. For me, the last 2 years have been really great, and it's been an honor to serve you. The word that comes to mind more than anything else is proud. I'm proud of the work that we've done in the last 2 years. First of all, I'm proud of our board. I am proud of this group. Over 20 individuals that give their time and energy. It's just mind-boggling how much work these guys do for volunteer work. And so I'm very proud of our board. If you are a member of our board, will you please stand? Let us thank you. Stand up, Jeff. I'm proud of the water quality initiatives that we did the last 2 years. 2 years ago, we recognized that water quality was an issue we couldn't tackle by ourselves. It was something that we needed help with. We needed outside counsel. And we brought in the Savannah River Keeper to help us. We've conducted water testing. We're working on conquering the invasive species on our lake, and we will hear more about this from Yolanda Adrian and from Lori Jordan, who is with Savannah River Keeper now. We'll hear from them more on the program. I'm also proud of the water safety program that we initiated in the last 2 years. It's really tough out there, crazy sometimes, especially on July 4th weekend. It's nutty, but we have not had a tragedy for several years. We've all heard about the tragedies in other lakes. We don't want those tragedies on our lake. We had an event on June 1st and brought the DNR there and met with them. 50 plus people showed up. We asked them questions, and it's our commitment in the LBCA board is to educate and make sure that you know how not to get pulled, not to have any accidents. And so I think it's been terrific, the water safety, and it's led now by Lee Penland. So thank you to them. I'm also proud of the work that we have done to give back to our community. And the numbers are on your placemat, and I'm not going to go over them, but it's really, we can hold our heads high and say, we have done a tremendous job of giving back to this community. Just last week, you got an email about the tour of homes led by Kathy Cravens. Wave, Kathy. Where we netted over 80,000. It goes right back into our community. So I'm proud of that. And lastly, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the support you've given me. I'm proud of the support you've given the board. And I would just ask that you continue to give of yourself and tirelessly as you have for many years. We all love the lake, and this organization works hard for you, and I would just ask that you continue to do that. Thank you. And now I give you our new president, Dan Marlowe.
Thank you all. It's been a pleasure serving under Elizabeth these past 2 years, and believe me, it's a tough act to follow. Her numerous accomplishments, which just some of the ones that we had up here just in the past year, it is a very, very strong organization, a very strong board, and because we have a strong leader. Elizabeth, we cannot thank you enough for the hard work that you have put in, for your tireless efforts to ensure Lake Burton is the cleanest and most beautiful lake in all of Georgia. And it is still a place where families can create memories that are going to last a lifetime. And because of your efforts, the lake will remain a beloved and safe haven for future generations to come. So as a small token of our appreciation, I'd like to present to you a present. And this is Corinthian bells that are engraved for your garden. And I think we have a picture of it right there. So next on the agenda is Robin Gunn Parker. Robin, come on up and speak.
Hi, everyone. I probably have the best job on the board. So I'm kind of resentful that I'm having to move on, because the foundation to me is the heart of LBCA and the heart of what you all do every year. It's amazing how giving our members are. And for those of you who don't know, the impact you are having on the community, and Diane White's going to come up and talk about the scholarships in a minute, but the impact we are having on Raven County is just, it brings tears to my eyes. And I've had the joy of presenting on your behalf a lot of these grants. And there's a brochure if you want to hear more about it that's here. You should have gotten one in your year-end note, but you all are making such a difference. So thank you to all of you for your generosity. Keep giving. This year alone, we are giving out another $100,000 to the community and for the lake preservation, for the water quality that we were doing. So you are making this a wonderful place in the community for not only our children, but those of us who are also less fortunate. I'm going to just one quick note. Last year, your donation to Victory Home, which is highlighted here, which is a men's recovery for addicts, drug and alcohol abuse. They had not had new mattresses for 12 years. 12 years. And through your generosity and your giving, through your dues, for joining and giving generously to LBCAF, we were able to replace all their mattresses. And I really can't tell y'all, I will admit something really small, and I promised Ann I'd only talk for 5 minutes. But I will say this about myself. It really was a humbling experience for me because, I asked for the check from Paula, but in no hurry. My grandkids are coming up. I'll get y'all the check. It's coming. Don't worry about it. And then the next week, I take the check. They are sitting there with a trailer waiting for me to deliver that check. And it was the most humbling experience to me for what I take for granted in my life. And for you all, it's just been an honor on your behalf to be able to do this. So when we ask you to give, it does give to the community as well as the water quality and preserving this for my 3 wonderful grandchildren. So thank you so much for everything you do. We'll be sending out more of these, and there's QR codes, and the donations are also on the back as well if you want to review what we're doing for this year. And with that, I have the honor and the pleasure of introducing Diane White, who works with all of our tremendous scholarship recipients. Diane?
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay? First of all, thank you. Like Robin said, it is amazing what we do as a community. What your donations do for everybody in the community but our scholarship recipients. And we've been doing this for about 40 years. Everybody's been pitching in for 40 years to give scholarships to Rabun County students. Since 2020 alone, I don't have the history to go back, we have given $650,000 worth of scholarships. Actually exceeded that. It's amazing. Thank you. Trying to be quick, but I do want to talk a little bit about the history and the evolution of the scholarship program because I'm just learning about it myself. In the 1980s, Bobby Dodd started this on his own, collected some money, would sit at his dining room table and review scholarship applications and awarded scholarships to students. This is not the Bobby Dodd football coach. Our Bobby Dodd did play football for that Bobby Dodd football coach, but he was a Lake member, a community member, and did this on his own because he also had a scholarship offered to him when he was younger and lived in a community similar to Clayton. After Bobby died, he handed it off to somebody else, but later on, the late Sam King took over the program, grew it tremendously, donations increased, and we started offering multi-year scholarships, not just the one-year scholarships. Lynn Goen, who worked alongside Sam King, and I'll talk about Lynn's new role later, she continued to grow it. And it grew to the point where, yes, we did need to engage someone to do the back office work, because I said I wouldn't be able to manage 70 scholarships and chase everything down. So North Georgia Community Foundation is doing all of that for us and also providing a lot of guidance to keep us adhering to IRS guidelines and that sort of thing. So they've been great to work with. And we're going to actually try to start some new things next year with some endowed scholarships. Lake Rabun has a program like that. They've worked with North Georgia Community Foundation for decades, and it's going to be a great partnership for us, and looking forward to that growth. So this year alone, we had over 200 members donate to our scholarships. We were able to award for the class of 2024 $172,000 worth of scholarships. That's because of you all. And honestly, that was a slight decline from what we had in prior years. My donation window was a little bit shorter, but we're going to try to change that next year. I think there's a way we can do that to extend it, that everybody has a chance to give. Anyway, tonight I'd love for 4 of our students just to quickly introduce themselves and tell you where they're going to go to school.
And my name is Nathan Stamey. I'm going to North Georgia Tech to study nursing. I just want to say thank you to the LBCA Foundation and the donors to help me pursue my passion in nursing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tyler Price. I'm going to University of Georgia in the fall to study computer science. I just want to thank the LBCA Foundation.
Hi, my name is Savannah Sanchez, and I am going to Brunel University in the fall, and I will be majoring in psychology. And I just want to thank the LBCA Foundation for their contribution to my future.
Hey, my name is Andrew Whittle, and I will be majoring in history at the University of North Georgia. I just want to thank the LBCA Scholarship Association for all the money. Thank you.
Join me in congratulating them. These are some of the brightest, hardest working kids in this area. So good luck to you all as you head out this fall. And Lynn Goen, Lynn, can you stand up and wave to us? So Lynn Goen is still involved in the scholarship committee, but she's working with the advocate program we have. And some of you have already been assigned a student and you follow them through their 4 years of college. It's not financial support, it's moral support, it's encouragement, that sort of thing. And if you're interested in that, whether maybe you went to the same college, maybe you studied nursing, if that's your field of study, or maybe you went to college yourself or you've put a kid through college, you know what sort of things they're going to encounter. And just to be another adult in the room and to support them. So see Lynn afterwards, she'll be maybe milling about there, or look her up in the directory. We're always looking for new advocates because we want this program to continue to grow. So thank you, and see Lynn. My final sales pitch, which I know Robin just mentioned, on your placemat, there's a QR code. So it's never too early to start donating. There's no donation that's too small. We have $25 up to, anyway, much higher than that. But every donation is really appreciated. So thank you again. Thank you for supporting us. And I look forward to continued support. Call me if you have any questions. Happy to answer.
One of our core values is water quality, and we are so fortunate to have Yolanda Adrian as our committee chair. While living in Atlanta, Yolanda served in two 4-year terms on the Atlanta City Council. She chaired several committees, including the Finance, Transportation, and Utilities. Yolanda and her husband, Lee, have been on Lake Burton since 2017. And when they got here, Yolanda jumped right in, no pun intended. Volunteering for the Tour of Homes in 2018 and joining the LBCA board in 2020. Yolanda has been the chair of both water quality and water safety and has implemented water testing on multiple locations on Lake Burton. Please welcome Yolanda Adrian.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with all of you, and I think you can agree that one of our top priorities is to keep our lake nice and clean, not only for us, but as everyone has mentioned, our grandchildren and beyond. Tonight, I'm going to share with you our LBCA team, who's been working to help monitor the lake, and talk about the important relationships that we have with other agencies and experts to help us achieve our goal of having a clean and healthy lake. Last year, LBCA partnered with the Savannah Riverkeepers, who trained citizen volunteers to monitor the lake elements, including pH levels, alkalinity, dissolved oxygen, and water temperature. But this is just a start. We're going to do more. Our amazing volunteers attended a class last year, got certified, and went to work. And I'd like to recognize those. If you would please stand so we can thank you. I'm going to start with Elizabeth Gill, Dan Marlowe, Lee Penland, where am I? Paula Jones, Paula, you here? Denise Ray, Brad Baker, Elizabeth Booth is traveling, but she's also works for the EPA and she's on the lake. Linda Marzolano, I hope I didn't mess up your name. Are you here, Lisa? No? Lisa, Corslin, Hope Pollitt, Mary Williams, Bill Stanton, and myself. All these people have worked last season and this season to monitor the lake. LBCA also partners with the EPA, and the Environmental Protection Agency has been testing our lake waters since 2013. They only test 2 sites, one in Mid-Lake and one at the dam. But fortunately, because we have 7 teams of volunteers that have been certified, we have been able to provide the EPA with additional data so that they can do further analysis on the water quality. So this is why it's so important to have citizen volunteers, and it's why the EPA has money to fund the training programs. And they're very eager to have more people because they simply, as an agency, can't do all the work in the state of Georgia, not to mention the entire country. The EPA has announced some new criteria that is going to be included in next year's testing. So they're going to expand the elements that they test, and for the first time, they're going to test for E. coli. And I think that's a great idea, just so we know, right? All right. Our partners, the River Keepers, have partnered with the EPA to get a grant to certify more volunteers to test on the lake. And hopefully y'all, Amy, Elizabeth, and so on, will agree to get recertified to continue the good work on the lake. And they are going to teach us how to test E. coli ourselves. So if there's a stream that's coming into the lake where someone has some concerns or you're kind of smelling something funny, you can call our committee and we can go test it. They're providing us with the equipment. It's so cool, including an incubator. I have one in my house. It's so fun. So if you volunteer and get certified, you too can have an incubator. In short, our partnerships with the EPA and River Keepers are so important. They're resources for expertise to not only help us become citizen advocates, but to help us solve other top issues, including siltation and erosion and invasive species. I'm not a scientist. Our boards have a big heart. Their board members are working so hard and all the volunteers, but these scientists are helping us to help them take care of this lake. So if you're interested in joining the team, come see me. I'll be here all night right through cleanup time. Or you can find my name in the directory, Yolanda Adrian, and we would love to have you as part of our team. So our next training is going to be in August or September, hopefully on a Saturday. And a couple people, one comes from the EPA, one comes from River Keepers. They teach you, it's pretty straightforward. And if you can't remember anything like I can't, it's all on the internet. So I encourage you to participate if you would like. All right, I now have the pleasure of introducing Laurie Jordan, who has joined River Keepers. Laurie brings an incredible wealth of resources and experience to the River Keepers. And the more I get him to talk, the more I learn. I mean, he's unbelievable. So Laurie grew up in Athens, Georgia, and he is now on the UGA faculty, where he is a professor in the College of Environment and Design. And in a few minutes, he will share with you what he and his students did last year, using Lake Burton as their laboratory, and the plans for the future. And I'm sure it's going to be quite exciting. As I said, he's recently joined the Savannah River Keepers, where he will serve as a strategic advisor for the upper basin, which headwaters include Lake Burton. Lake Burton is the headwater for the Savannah River, thus the importance of our relationship. And because of the foundation and some of the money that the foundation has shared with River Keepers, we now have a person. And not just any person, a real expert, so I'm so excited. Let's see, a couple of other things I want to mention to you about him. Laurie and Bruce Rado. Bruce is, where are you? There you are. Oh, you're not over by your lake. They are buddies. Bruce is on the lake. They are buddies. And in the 70s, when they were youngsters, they started a high-tech company which developed software that is similar to what we would understand as Google Earth. They developed it back in the 70s, way ahead of the curve. And why this is important, that's not all. Laurie was there with the ARS 123 platform, which those of you who are volunteers know that is our toolkit. I just found that out today. Anyway, So they founded this company today. Why it's important is because this GPS tool could be used, for example, to measure how parts of our lake are eroding, and with that data, we can get people's attention, right? I mean, science doesn't lie. All right, one more thing to tell you. All right, Laurie tells me he's an ordinary guy who's extraordinarily lucky. And his favorite thing in the world, his goal, is to be the best granddad on the planet. But I will tell you this, there is nothing ordinary about Laurie. He is so talented, he's bringing so much to the table. I can't wait for you to hear his remarks. So please help me welcome Laurie Jordan, our latest partner here on Lake.
Well, Yolanda, that was a very, very kind and generous introduction. First of all, I'm very happy to be with all of you and to share with you this afternoon, this evening, the recent results of a fun project we're working on together. It's really been very, very exciting for me and all of my students. Okay, so this is a collaborative project. It's a collaborative partnership between the Lake Burton Civic Association, the University of Georgia College of Environment and Design, as well as Riverkeeper organization. So we were very fortunate at the beginning of this year to meet Elizabeth and Dan, and they graciously accepted being the executive sponsor for the senior class project that I teach. And the kids were so excited about the possibility of working on Lake Burton. So we were thrilled as well. All right, so these are my kids. This is the senior class. The project is the senior class project, what you would think of as a capstone project. This is the last course that the kids take before they graduate. And I have to tell you, these kids are amazing. So if you're a mom or a dad or a grandparent and you have a kid at the University of Georgia, you can be enormously proud of them. I mean, the school, I'll give you a report card, UGA is the best it's ever been. It's better not only athletically, but academically. It's just an amazing place. So these kids, all of your kids, are winners if they're in the University of Georgia. I know I couldn't get in today like I did more than 50 years ago. So it's a wonderful place. And you'll see that tall kid there in the middle. We're going to come back to him in a minute. That's Brady Rhodes. And Brady, his dad, Dr. Rusty Rhodes, I think, is a very prominent position up here on the lake. And you'll see some fun stuff that Brady did here in just a minute. Okay, I'm nervous about going back over to that micro. Okay, so the kids organize themselves, self-organize into 6 different teams, and they basically decided to look at a number of different areas that are of interest, concern, and certain focus areas, like shoreline erosion, sedimentation, basically invasive species, both aquatic and terrestrial, non-point source pollution, boating safety, and so forth. All with the common goal of trying to pull together the traditional technologies plus the new technologies to serve as a tool that can be useful to not only the Civic Association, but also Raven County to help us have a better life, protect this beautiful and magnificent resource that we have here. So the central organizing technology that we use is something called a Geographic Information System, or GIS. That's just a fancy term for a simple way of overlaying information to get a better picture and a better understanding of how things like soils and water and geology and terrain all interact with each other. Really very simple. One of the most important layers of information, and this is based upon the career that Bruce and I had, is imagery, not only from satellites and aircraft, but also drones, because there's so much information, secrets that are hidden inside imagery that you can unlock if you create some creative software, okay? So when we first started this project, we were a little bit challenged to find a lot of good data. And imagery was a challenge for us. So one of the teams focused on shoreline erosion in Billy Goat Island. So here you see Billy Goat Island. It's a dark green if you can see it, and it also includes that light color area there. The dark green is aerial imagery, and it was okay, but it wasn't fantastic. So what we needed was higher resolution. Well, in comes our hero. There's Brady. He's one of my best students and one of the nicest people you'll meet. He brought his own drone. I don't know if you can see it. He's holding his little drone there. And so he flew, thanks to Bruce and Andrea, they got together on Bruce's new vintage Chris Crab boat. Along with the drone, they cruised around the lake, and they basically collected drone imagery from a number of different coasts. So this light-colored area is a mosaic of the drones, but let's look a little bit closer at what that looks like. It's just quite remarkable. You can see trees that are falling down into the lake along the shore and so forth. Very, very rich detail. I'm going through these pretty quickly because I promised Dan it'd be less than 10 minutes, so I think I'm getting close. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not. Here's just a couple other areas. This is Murray Cove, top left. The dark green is the aerial photography, and then the lighter area is the mosaic stitched into it. And here we move over to the top right, you'll see a full resolution of that, what's in that yellow circle. So really nice quality detail that can help us make better decisions, get more accurate information so that we know exactly where something is and how it's behaving or how it's misbehaving. So down in the lower left, there's Timpson Creek Cove, similar thing, just a quick example of that. So we wanted to combine the traditional technologies with the new technologies. So here the kids resort to their traditional landscape architecture skills, take a look at some of the limitations of traditional seawall design, and then bring in some more forward-looking construction techniques as well as the natural shoreline preservation and implementation. So this is where the old and the new come together very, very nicely. I apologize, some of these images are clipped off for some reason, but I don't know. So there are several other projects. We don't have time to go over all of them, but there are two of my favorite right here. So here is Jones Bridge Park on the upper left. That's the way it is now. And then one of the design teams created a very attractive park. This is just one of several images of it. It has a beautiful overlook and observation deck, really quite nice. And if you want any copies of this presentation, we'll be glad to give it to Dan and make sure it's available to you. There's a lot more really good stuff that we just don't have time to show right now. Lower left, this is my favorite one, the Murray Cove boat ramp. All right. So it's a functional ramp, it works, it's okay, but the kids really knocked it out of the park. They created a floating park, a floating park and a pier, and it's like a multimedia, multi-source destination, a really fun place. Now, whether that's ever going to get built or not, I don't know, but I just love these kids' creativity and enthusiasm. You never know. I mean, that's what's great about college. You know, you push the envelope. Okay, so I want to end here with the last, most important part. As Yolanda mentioned and others have mentioned, the most important thing of all in any of these systems is water quality. And so thankfully, and you all are so lucky to have Yolanda as the chairwoman of the Water Quality Committee. And she's already taken the lead, as was mentioned, to create 7 separate teams that are not only professionally trained, but officially certified by the EPA to collect water quality samples in a professional way. And one of the next things we're going to do this year at UGA is we're going to come back to Lake Burton, make that our centerpiece project, and we're going to be integrating much more of the water quality data, a lot more imagery, a lot of other GIS layers. We're really looking forward to working with Dan, who's already doing a lot of the really creative things as well. Okay, so with that, I'm going to just kind of end and say stay tuned to the movie Best Is Yet to Come. All right, thanks.
Okay, let's keep moving on. So I know everybody's getting a little bit hungry, and we want to get to dinner as quickly as we can. I'd like to talk about water safety. Water safety is another one of our core values. And last summer, 2023, we set a record we don't want to repeat. We had the most warnings, citations, and BUIs that we've ever had. And in response to this, last November, I got to gather with DNR, Elizabeth Gill, Yolanda Adrian, and myself, and we just asked to have a meeting with them to discuss everything that had transpired on the lake and how it can be improved. And as a result of that meeting, we decided Yolanda was both water quality and water safety And we said that's too big of a job, two of those jobs together for one person, so we split it. Yolanda's remained with water quality, Lee became water safety, Lee Penman. And so we did that, and then Lee and I got together, and in close collaboration with Cody Jones, we worked on the water safety flyer that we put out. And so the water safety flyer is, we took the top 4 reasons people were being pulled over last summer. And we said, hey, this is more of the cliff notes. This is not everything you need to know to be a safe boater, but this will get you started. And you really need to go and look further into the safety rules for the Georgia boating rules and regulations. And in addition to that, it was Cody Jones, Sergeant Cody Jones offered up to do a safety meeting for us in June, which we conducted. And he said, I said to him during the meeting, what can we do to lower this? And he said, education's the key. And this has worked on other lakes. And we said, okay, well, let's try it on Lake Burton. So June 1st, we had our first safety meeting. We had about 50 people there, a little bit over 50. We recorded it. Over 100 people have viewed it on YouTube, even though it's a 30-minute video. We've done multiple social media posts, and we're trying to do the best that we can to educate everybody on that. And our interns, our social media, or our communications interns, we got Carly Crane, Phoebe Broderick. Y'all stand up. I'll give them a hand. You've seen their videos, their posts. And we're going to continue to produce those. And we're trying to build up a library. So basically it covers everything, because people will watch videos. They won't read the rules and regulations, but they will watch videos. So that's what we're going to do. And so I want to introduce Cody Jones. Cody, come on up. This is the second year that Sergeant Cody Jones has attended the annual dinner. For those of you that have not met him, Sergeant Jones has worked with the Department of Natural Resources for 17 years. And in 2018, he was named the State of Georgia Game Warden of the Year. You didn't knew that, did you? Yeah. Sergeant Jones supervises 7 game wardens who provide law enforcement for 5 counties, 6 lakes, 5 wildlife management areas, and 9 state parks and historic sites. He's got a big job, so let's welcome Sergeant Cody Jones.
Well, thank you. So, way up, here we go. How's this in the back? All right. So here are a few of the stats. This is from basically January until right after the 4th of July holiday weekend. Just some comparisons from Lake Burton, Lake Raven, Lake Chattooga, Lake Hartwell, and Lake Lanier. We got to throw the effect in there. And including on the bottom, Lake Lanier did have 15 boating incidents and 6 drownings so far this year. So this is not 4th of July weekend, don't get me wrong. This is from January until a few days ago. So again, we do cover 5 counties, and we have a game warden assigned in each county. And we were able to get a couple of more positions since we have so much water in Raven County. We do have a lake position, so we were able to get another person there. And then again, with Tallulah Gorge being such a need for an officer, we have a park position there as well. But that also does mean we have a lot of areas to cover. Anything from Lake Burton, Lake Raven, Lake Seed, and Lake Hartwell are our main lakes that we're dealing with. We try to get on Lake Yona, Lake Tugelo, a lot of those smaller lakes when possible. We also have a lot of trout streams. We have kayak in the Chattahoochee River, a lot of our state parks, search and rescues, wildlife management areas. So we try to put as much attention to the lakes as we can, because that's where people do get hurt, versus it's going to be okay if someone catches over their limit. I mean, no one's going to get hurt in that situation. So we do try to watch our lakes as much as we can just to keep people safe. I do very much appreciate the lower numbers of BUIs, and and that was a great education. I really appreciate that. We always try to tell folks there is no open container law on the lakes. So you can have a pontoon boat that's rated for 15 people. You can have 14 people. That is unconscious if you wanted to. They would go that far. There's no law against that as long as you have a sober operator. So if you enjoy those cocktail times, just trade places, have that sober operator. That way everybody's staying safe, and you can help the other people off the boat. So I do very much appreciate y'all having those sober operators. That makes things a lot safer. I seen our few other stats. So I don't have apples to apples numbers for last year versus this year. Last year I had the numbers for the entire year. Well, we're only halfway through it, so it's apples and oranges a little bit. But a lot of the numbers are down. We definitely want to pay attention to the 100-foot violation, because that's where, as boats get closer, they have more chance that they're going to run into each other. Violation of rules of the road, if they're in the wrong side of the waterway into oncoming traffic, that's where boats get in trouble and they're going to hit somebody. Y'all's media team did a great job on a Facebook post where it actually showed what rules of the road looks like on their Facebook page, and I thought that was a great imagery of what it's supposed to look like, much better than I can ever explain it. Anything else you want covered? Wakeboarding, thank you. So we're a full year in, and we've had a handful of conversations with folks. For the most part, most folks have been understanding and abiding by it, and I think we've wrote about 3 or 4 warnings on 200-foot wakeboarding violations. So if you're not familiar with it, you need to be 200 feet away from basically anything in the water, as far as docks, the shoreline, and things like that, while you're pulling a wakeboard, a wake surfing, or if you are simply plowing through the water, creating a wake that could be surfed. Maybe you don't have anybody behind the boat, but if you're just going slow, plowing, throwing that big wake, it's still creating the damage to the shoreline, and that's still illegal. So make sure that you're not rolling that wake.
Let's go forward. Let's talk about financials. The Civic Association and the Foundation are on solid financial footing. As you can see, between the two organizations, we have over $1 million in combined total assets, thanks to you. For the LBCA, the income and expenses, we were cash flow positive in 2023, which is always good. We did have increased expenses coming up in 2024, so we did raise the dues by $30 per each membership level. And we haven't raised dues in 3 or 4 years. We hope not to do it again for another 3 or 4 years. I always get the question, where's the money go? And so we created a pie chart, and this is on the placemats for you to look at, and you can see exactly where the money is spent. 2023 fundraising, a very strong year for the foundation. Over $300,000 in fundraising, and you can see the different areas that it comes from. And one thing, thank you. One thing that you're going to notice if you pay attention year over year with the foundation, the even years are when you have the tour of homes. And so you have a lot more money coming in. I mean, we raised over $80,000 this year, and we did the same in 2022. So when you go to the next year and the money is spent, but you don't have as much money coming in, it makes it look like you're upside down financially, but you're really not, because we don't spend money until we have it. And so when we build a budget, it's based on the previous year income, not the current year. And these are the expenses for the foundation. Majority of it's going to go to community grants and scholarships, as it should. Paula Jones. Paula Jones is our LBCA administrator. Where is Paula Jones? Paula started working as the administrator under Chip Groom, and so she's been with Elizabeth for 2 years and now going on to me. And she is the glue that holds the organization together. She knows where all the bodies are hidden. And if you have a question that you cannot find on the website, contact Paula. Her email address is admin@lbca.net. Volunteers, we always need more volunteers. We cannot have enough volunteers. If you are passionate about one of our programs, even if we don't even have a program you're passionate about and you want to start it, who do you call? Don't say Ghostbusters. Paula, what's her email address? Okay, we're catching on now. But we're always looking for volunteers. Please, let us hear from you. Save the date. We've got more great events coming up this year for community building. We've got concerts coming up, and we've got the Burton Scavenger Hunt in September. We've got the golf tournament, which is always big, and we've got the Burton Masquerade at the end of October. So check your emails. There's another event out there that could be coming. I can't say what it is, but it's pretty exciting. So keep an eye on your emails. Keep watching the website. Ask Paula. So, as far as being the incoming president, a lot of times I look through all of the annual dinner notes and everything from the minutes, and some of the presidents said, okay, here's what I'm going to do as president. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do as president. I'm going to ask you what you want me to do as president. Because I want to serve the members of LBCA. And so coming this fall, we're going to have a survey, and we're going to have a number of initiatives out there, but also we're going to have room for you to write in what initiatives you would like for us to pursue for the lake. I'd also like to say that the fireworks last weekend were the best I've ever seen. Helen Page here. Helen Page, I've got to tell you. As many of you know, during the midst of their fundraising efforts and organizing for the fireworks, they encountered a family tragedy that none of us can even fathom. And they soldiered through that and raised more money than they needed to. It's a testament to the family, to the traditions that they've set on Lake Burton. And I couldn't help but thinking as that glorious grand finale was taking place, that Carter had the best seat in the house up in heaven looking down on Lake Burton with a big grin on his face. Thank you to all of the volunteers who have put their time and effort into all of these events this year, but especially today. And I'd like to recognize Andrea Sorgelus and Lisa Fletcher, the co-chairs for this event. And they have a great team of volunteers behind them. Jessie Emmons is in the back. She is the director of Camp High Harbour that allows us to have our event in this great facility. Since this is a business meeting, I'm going to make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second? Okay, I've got Beatty Maffett, who has given us the second. Everyone in favor? Woo! Okay, the meeting is adjourned. We're going to do a raffle, and then Diane is going to give you directions to release by table.